Hello, my beautiful friends, and welcome to Leo season. We have made it. We made it through Cancer season, and here we are in the thick of eclipse season. So speaking of that, I did eclipse oracle readings for all signs. The link for your sign watching here is below. Also, everything I'm about to talk about is in the description box below. Of course, if you want a private reading with me, you can access that below to my booking system. Prices are going to be going up for my birthday in Virgo season, so take advantage of those prices now. If you want access to the mid-month readings, you have two options for that. I now offer the ability to buy them by sign individually, or of course, you can join Siren Gang where you pay monthly and you get access to all 12 of the readings, plus a weekly energetic blog, plus $3 off my services. But when my prices go up, that discount will go from $3 off to $5 off. And I also listed some crystal sets for sale on my website as well, along with, of course, my ritual kit. So the description of that is below, and I've already sold about half of them. And if you guys really like them, I will start stocking them more often. I was just trying to gauge where everything was at. All the crystal sets that we have on the site now are going to be charged under the eclipses, so you have the opportunity to add any additional intentions you have and things like that and get them charged up. Of course, as always, if you have any questions for me or not sure which reading to get or whatever, of course, email me. The description is below. And if you want access to me on a more regular basis, you can follow me on Instagram and Twitter @_spiritualsiren. Mwah. Gemini, we have a lot of water for you, which is, always kind of interesting. I feel like this Hierophant and Knight of Cups is saying that you're opening yourself up to a journey that looks more traditional and looks more like, quote, normal. And to an extent, your inner critic wants nothing to do with this because it's just like that's not necessarily the dream you had as a child, right? Because I feel though, even though the King of Cups can be a very supportive person, it can be someone that's a great listener and someone that offers great advice, because it's paired with the Six of Cups, I feel like this person, and somehow, whether it's an external person or it's inside of you, is mimicking back to you that you're an underachiever, or that you haven't done enough, or that you're not going to be successful enough, or whatever, because though big money is coming to you, though the level of funds and physical support that is coming to you is going to be very, very lucrative, like I feel like, it doesn't matter what amount of money it is, but I feel like you're tapping into a new wellspring of wealth, okay? However, the way you're going to go about it, it's traditional on the surface, but it's not traditional in the sense that you're not doing what is like just going to make more money or is just going to be financially intelligent. It's going to be something that you're actually emotionally invested in, something that you actually can feel good about every single day. So I feel you're kind of making the standards placed on you work for you, right? You're kind of like paving your own way inside the system, if you will. So it's important, with these 2 5s here, to not get thrown off course by challenge or by people that are challenging your position. And again, I feel inner critic is a big thing for you. Some of you also may be, I want to say, expunging or expelling, again, old narratives around having to intellectualize your emotion, especially, again, from your childhood. I feel like this is a lot from your childhood. I feel like this is your inner child needing to be heard, needing to have some type of therapeutic outlet. And you may be having conversations or maybe writing down things, again, conversations with yourself or other people that are kind of like a catch-22. Like you feel bad about what you're saying, or you don't feel like it's really going to benefit. But at the same time, I do feel it's necessary. And then with the Ten of Pentacles and the Fool, at the end of the day, one, I feel the need to say you can reset the ancestral cycle. Okay, with this Ten of Pentacles and the Fool here. You can approach your lineage, your family history, your whatever, and reset the cycle. Okay, while still being true to your roots. You know, this is kind of like breaking the chain, if you will. But let's get into your whole spread. All right, Gemini. So first I need to tell you that when these two cards came out, closing time started to play in my head. And it was specifically the part where it says someone's new beginning is some other beginning's end, right? Some other beginning's end. Like this idea that there's this idea that what you thought was an end is really a beginning, and what you thought was a death and what you thought was a surrendering and a transformation can be an end. And I feel like you're going through a restructuring and revival of your vision for yourself and your overall life path. And I find that as your strength increases, because what I love is you have the strength rune here and you have the actual strength card here and the outcome. So I feel you're building vitality this month, and you're strengthening your resolve in surrendering to the grand plan and surrendering over your ideas of what you are, what you should be, where you're headed, all that kind of stuff. You're getting more comfortable with fluidity. You're getting more comfortable with not knowing as well. What's interesting is the overall energy is the Seven of Swords. But I feel like this is a reclamation, a reclaiming, okay, of the parts of yourself that you feel have been lost along the way, okay? Because, yes, the Seven of Swords can talk about deception, and it can talk about, you know, losing things, or, you know, things being stolen from you, or you know, abandoning different parts of yourself. But I feel like you're going back and picking up pieces. Like, I feel like these two swords left are just ones that you haven't, you know, gone back and gotten yet. I don't really think this is about deception. I don't really feel like this is about, you know, someone getting away with something when you're not looking. I feel like you're going to pick up pieces. And again, that ancestral energy is here as well. That picking up pieces of old lifetimes, picking up pieces for your family to like restructure, reset the trajectory of your overall legacy, right? You may be picking up, quote, slack that your parents, that your grandparents, whatever, left behind. And it's not like they did it on purpose. Obviously, you're just kind of tasked, I feel, to really shift and just be, quote, better, be different than your parents, and kind of reset the cycle. I was called to pull oracle cards this month, and we have friendship. I understand that a friend is in my life for a reason. And again, I think this is also remembering that you're your own best friend first and foremost. And then again, if you have lost any pieces of yourself in friendships in the past, right? Or if you had abandoned parts of yourself to be in order to be somebody's friend, right? Or if you allow relationships to run away with you, right? Or run away with a part of your personality. Because one thing about Gemini energy or mutable energy as a whole, we can fragment ourselves off pretty easily and give different people pieces of ourselves and live a very compartmentalized life. And it's like, okay, this group of people knows this part of me, this group of people knows this part of me, this group of people knows this part. And it doesn't make us phony, right? It doesn't make us phony, it just makes us adaptable. And it makes us compartmentalized. But I feel like there's a fusion happening this month where you understand that you can do all that and there's nothing wrong with being that way. But you also need to have some friendships and people in your life that allow you to show up 100% fully. And I feel like this is, again, resurrecting different parts of yourself that, again, you normally fragment off so that you don't have to embrace full integration. Okay? What you're being asked to release is the Two of Wands with the rune Strength and the Death card. So I kind of already explained this, but you're being asked to release in really, I mean, I feel like that's a double down with the death card here and asking to release. It's just like giving up fighting, giving up knowing things, right? The mind only takes us so far. Okay, and because you do have water energy coming through still, we have a lot of pentacles, so I feel like money, career, physical matters are definitely highlighted this month, especially as it comes to like overarching career, like longevity, things around who you give your power to and authority are a big focus this month. But there's a reminder that we have to integrate our emotional body at some point. Right? This idea that continuing to compartmentalize with the people that are nearest and dearest to you and the things that are nearest and dearest to you, like work, right? We spend most of our lives working as people, right? Because that's, you know, here we are in America, on Earth, and, you know, or, you know, wherever. It's pretty much the same everywhere, but America's a little more drastic. So we have to love what we do. We have to have our heart in our work. We have to feel passionate and fulfilled by the things that bring us money. And there's nothing wrong with wanting wealth, right? But we have to do something that is, again, going to bring us back home to ourselves with that wealth, right? So maybe you're pursuing a more traditional plan of earning money so you can like hit a high threshold of earning, and then you can indulge more in your private craft, or indulge more in a humanitarian effort, or indulge more in your passion project, right? Some people function well like that, others don't. I feel like you are one of those people, Gemini, that can, again, because you have a compartmentalized, you know, type of personality, you can go and do something that you like, but doesn't necessarily like knock your socks off, and you can earn a good amount of money, and that freedom that you earn in that job is enough for you. But you have to find somewhere else to put that excess energy when you're not at work. So know that as you strengthen your faith and in spirit and in the quote grand plan and in yourself, in your abilities, and the fact that you're constantly retrieving more happiness that you thought you had lost along the way. I feel like you've been, you know, like we're born, you know, as this innocent, very pure child, right? This soul that is intact, and then over time, part of that gets suppressed and repressed and rejected. And I feel like you're doing that type of soul retrieval this month. So as you strengthen your trust in yourself and what you're doing, your vision gets broader and less limited. Because even though the Two of Wands does talk about a vision of the future and seeing things differently, I just feel like it's Spirit is saying bigger and bigger, bigger and bigger, bigger and bigger. Okay, because there's a limitlessness to this energy. The door that's not open that was once closed. We have the Queen of Cups with Temperance. And on Temperance, we have Success. So there's this idea that the true key to success is being patient with ourselves. And again, fusing. There's this idea, right? We talk about alchemy with Temperance, and this is another mutable energy card. There's this idea that we have to use elements that seem completely opposite each other to come together and form a third element that allows us to thrive, right? To succeed. So I do feel that you need to fuse your emotional body, fuse your intuition into everything that you do, even if it seems off topic, even if it seems, you know, irrelevant. I feel that you need to use it in every single moment, because your quiet whisper voice inside of you, that one that's harder to hear when the ego is talking and the mind is talking, that sentient knowing, okay, is calling you to be kind to yourself, to be patient. Not so patient that you give up, obviously, but patient and steadfast. I feel steadfast and important. But again, to fuse yourself. I feel like the more you fuse that intuition into who you already are, and at the very least who you present yourself as, right? Which isn't a facade. It's real. It's just not your entire self. So as you fuse your intuitive body into your presented self, you will not only be successful, right, in hearing your intuition louder, but you will also succeed in tempering, right, your varied emotions or your varied states of being. Because again, just because other people don't see it doesn't mean it doesn't happen to you. And I feel it will also aid your overall success, not only in life and in business, but also in forming relationships where you can show up more fully without that worry that, again, like, you know, there's going to be some level of deception and there's going to be some level of regret as well. Your current energy as it relates to all of this. In your head, we have the Fool. In your heart, I don't know what that is. We have the Emperor with the rune Journey. And in your foundation, we have the Four of Swords. So, I really like this numerically here because 2 4s is an 8, obviously because the Fool is 0, and 8, you know, is infinity and finding the flow, right? Finding your flow. So, the key to finding your flow this month and really lining yourself up with the divine plan in a more easeful way, because technically we're always in alignment with the divine plan. It's just whether or not how much we want to resist that flow or ride the wave, right? At the base of it all, I feel it's important to remember that you are not your thoughts, okay? I feel that's a big message here with the Four of Swords, that you are not your thoughts. That clarity comes when we observe these reservations, when we observe these more negative feelings, when we observe the memories of past deception or losing ourselves. When we observe them, meaning they are not part of us, right? You're not saying, I am anxious. It's like, I have anxiety. Where did that anxiety come from? Like, you have it versus you are it. So it seems small, but I feel it's easier to allow things to float away like a balloon. So it's like it was never a part of you. It's not part of your field. You're holding it in a balloon. And you don't even have to pop the balloon. It doesn't have to be dramatic. It doesn't have to be shocking. You can just release it into the atmosphere. But the only way, you know, that's a more gentle way. But you can't just let it go and whatever. You have, you know, like just, okay, fine, I'll just let all the balloons go, because that's not realistic. You have to actually, like, ask the balloon, like, where did it come from? You know, all this kind of stuff. So I do feel it's important this month to really reflect on, again, what direction you want to take and making your heart the authority, right? Because with the Emperor in the heart space, in the rune Journey, this is saying that when you live a heart-centered life, and I told someone else this, who was it? Pisces? Yes, it was Pisces. When you live a heart-centered life and you make like a commitment, right? Because the Emperor is a rigid, like someone that is unfolding, someone that is going to do what they want to do regardless of anything. When you make living out your heart, living out of your heart the priority, and you demand from yourself and from other people that you're going to live by your own heart's desire, point blank, period, I feel like, you know, mountains will crumble. You know what I mean? Like in a good way. Because the Fool in your headspace is saying that you are ready, right? You have released a lot of mental limitations that were previously there. And I also feel that you've stopped associating with people that were adding to some type of burden. Especially mentally, like adding to mental chatter, whether it be people that gossip or people that, you know, just, they don't mean it, but they don't have like a very good mental track, if you will. And there's also a deep level of acceptance, I feel, that is coming over you, because you understand that when you are in charge of your own life, you can accept that other people are too, and you're less embroiled in the choices they do or do not make. Okay? Because the Fool in the headspace, I feel, in this regard, is very positive. And you're willing to take risks. But at the same time, I feel you're heavily committed to your heart's desire. And you're heavily committed to actualizing that feeling, that really, really good feeling that you have. Now, the Emperor also can be very rigid and not wanting really to fold. So that's a very, very opposite energy to the Fool. So your head, I feel it's good that it's on board before your heart is fully. But when it comes to your heart's desire, I feel like the only hang up you have to look out for is sometimes when we have this very specific, again, specific idea of what success looks like, of what our life looks like, of what our relationships are going to look like, instead of focusing on the feeling of how they're going to feel and how they're going to resonate with us and what they're going to evoke from us, we can miss the mark, right? We can be like, oh, that's not for me. I'm just going to get out of here. So make sure that you're more focused on feeling than physicality. I feel that's really important, to be more focused on how to lead a life that you love and be firm on that and know what that feels like versus what it looks like, okay? Spirit's advice for you. We have the Queen of Pentacles with the Seven of Pentacles. And on the Queen of Pentacles, we have the rune Disruption. So, being that this is an advice position, I feel that to an extent, some skill that you have, you feel like you've mastered it, right? You feel like you've figured it out, whether it be the way you handle your money, the way you earn money, just what you want to do with your time as well. And again, the way that you manifest. I feel like you should allow it to be changed. I feel like you can benefit from not doing things the way you always have, even if the way you quote always have has only been for the last 3 years. I find this disruption to be a positive thing, because the Seven of Pentacles can talk about worrying about manifestation, and it's also important to remember that if we worry about whether or not our manifestation is actually going to occur, that can disrupt the building process. That can disrupt the gardening process, if you will. So don't be focused on what you can see. Okay? Again, there's a fixation here on feeling, and don't be afraid to try different methods to get new results. Instead of giving up, or instead of saying like, oh, this isn't going to happen. I feel like, a little bit you're getting rerouted and tested on doing things in a different manner. I don't feel like this disruption is bad. But if your money is disrupted somehow, or your way of being or your way of earning is disrupted in somehow, I feel like that's just Spirit pushing you to tap into a different way, not a roadblock. Okay, these two cards on the flip. Yeah, because we have the World, the Universe, and Nine of Wands with the Six of Pentacles at the bottom of the deck. So this is just testing you to see if you can really end this cycle. If you can really try something new when your plan is not 100% your way, when you're offered an opportunity that would tap you into the same vibration, but it's presented in a way that you didn't realize, can you take it, or are you going to be weary of it, okay? Most likely outcome moving into September, we have the Nine of Pentacles with the Six of Pentacles, and we have the Strength card with the rune Fertility. Now, Taurus had Strength and Fertility together, but it was in the advice column, so I just need to mention that. So the Nine of Pentacles and the Six of Pentacles is really saying that the more you give of yourself to an extent, or again, fully, right? We're not talking about in a compartmentalized way. We're talking about in a full way. The more you give of yourself, and remember that you have room to give because you have done so much work on creating an independent body of your own. Because I feel like this Nine of Pentacles, Six of Pentacles is saying that you have come to a point in your life where you're comfortable and with who you are and what you have accomplished, and again, physically, mentally, emotionally, and you stand on your own 2 feet and you don't need from anybody. So that also puts you in a position to give without worrying about what comes back to you, because I do feel a little bit with this friendship card here and with the Seven of Swords thing here, there is a little bit of a hesitation, even though you don't actually need anything back. I feel like to an extent you hold a little bit of yourself back in relationships or in dealings because you're afraid of getting taken advantage of, but that also brings shallow people to the table, people that also keep something in their back pocket. Even though you're not doing it out of deception and it's not necessarily creating, you're not doing anything deceptive, but it may create deceptive people that don't give explanations or don't show up fully because you are not showing up fully to the table. So the Six of Pentacles is asking you to do a little bit of charity work, I feel. Not necessarily charity, for some of you maybe charity, but you can give freely, right? Like technically, if we're talking about unconditional love, and this is not romantic. We're not talking about romantic stuff. But if we're talking about unconditional love and just being able to give, right? You're in a really powerful position to be in. But I feel like Spirit is saying you need to act on what you have harnessed and what you have mastered. With strength and fertility here, it's saying that, again, your strength is unwavering. And just because you give now doesn't mean you're going to be running out later. Because you have a wellspring of strength. You have a wellspring of patience. You have a lot of agility and vitality. And I feel that spreading the wealth, whatever that means to you, will be very powerful for you as well. Spirit, what affirmation do you have? Okay. I lovingly do everything I can to assist my body in maintaining perfect health. I get plenty of sleep every night. My body appreciates how I take care of it. And again, this can, we talk about strength a lot. This can be talking about, physical strength and what we have to do to maintain overall well-being. And it's important to love yourself, right? Wholly and fully in order to find people that can show up the same way. Gemini, I almost said Pisces again, so maybe check out that video. Gemini, I love y'all. Peace.